Let's play.
Welcome back, viewers. I'm Burping, and this is an episode of Rocks and Bushes. This is an episode of Bunny Ears Ice Survivalist, new on the Discovery Channel. All she has is an ice armor, a stick, and a shield. Can she survive the rigors of ruined canyons with dog-faced robots? What do you think? I think she'll survive. We should be able to get pretty close to the end. You have to fight Inquisitor boss towards the end, and I hope that's not a spoiler, but I have had difficulty with him sometimes. He hits pretty hard. He's pretty tough, so I'm hoping I won't die. And the rest of this is just sort of like a slog where you just sort of like, oh crap, I'm gonna die. You're constantly going, oh dang, I'm gonna die, because there's tons of these temple guardians, and they hit hard. And this, I don't know if it's because I don't have much Delta Arcania lore, Orcania lore, which I'm probably going to take now that I think about it, because it's going to be very useful. I'll review everything that I have going. It wouldn't really make me a hybrid. It's like they're both magic schools, so it's not a big deal. Alright, immediately I'm putting up this thing because there's also a lot of these little fluff balls in here, and they do a lot of damage too. So that's weird. I guess it's because my thing isn't as strong. It's not completely banishing those. Very difficult to interpret this tooltip, because what it says is like spell banishing effectiveness 84. That's like if there was like a website and you go on that website and it like tells you how cool you are, and you're like, you just like put on your photo or something, and it's like, how cool am I? And it's like, apple, and then you're like, you're like, compare with your friend, you're like, so I'm apparently as cool as an apple, and they're like, yeah, I'm a banana, and you're like, oh. Which, I mean, that said, that is essentially what you get with those, like, Facebook games. You know what I'm talking, like, not Farmville, but, like, people are always sending you, like, they don't send you requests, but they, like, post their results from, like, Trivia Quest. Which animal's butthole are you? Are you a hippopotamus's sphincter, or are you an alligator's rectum? Find out by taking this simple test with 20 questions. Tell me, which picture makes you feel happier? Is it this monkey jerking off, or is it this zebra reading a dictionary? Based on your enjoyment of the zebra reading a dictionary, we have decided that you are a giraffe's butthole. And then there's like a explanation, like what like really intrinsic and meaningful qualities that are essentially like the same thing as a horoscope, but which qualities make you like a zebra's butthole, or a giraffe's butthole. Sorry, I didn't mean to mangle my own comparison thing. Oh crap. We gon' die! We gon' die tonight! Oh man. They're all spread out. That's what she said! Oh man. She didn't say anything. She won't even hang out. Losers like me.
Or would you disagree?
I don't know who she is. I don't even know who she is. I don't have any money. Sorry, that's a Space Ghost Coast reference. That only references one episode, so if you haven't seen that episode, look up Space Ghost Coast to Coast Stephen Wright. It involves space blobs and things like that, and it is awesome. It is one of the best things that was ever done by anything. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Me and a couple of my friends enjoyed it a lot back in the day. It's pretty old. This had to be back from 2003 or possibly earlier. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Stephen Wright is just, like, he's funny, but he's, like, really dry delivery funny. Like, not really quite Mitch Hedberg type of, like, dryness, because Mitch Hedberg was, like, it was like Mitch Hedberg didn't have any business being a stand-up comic, because he had terrible delivery, but his jokes were so funny that he still was able to be a stand-up. Like, his jokes were, like, the most amazing. Like, when you heard his jokes, you were just like, oh my god, like, that's genius, but very simple. Like, I remember he told a joke about, like, hey, you know what's entertaining for, like, me to do when I'm trying to pretend like I'm funny? Is to poorly retell jokes that other people invented. But he has this joke, or had this joke, unfortunately he's dead, which is something that really sucks. But he was like talking about how his neighbor would like knock on the wall when he was making noise, when Mitch was making noise, to tell him to be quiet. And he said, well, I'd just be like, there's no door here, you'll have to go around. And it's just the way he says it, like, it's something about his, like, awkward delivery becomes, like, recursive, so it, like, goes all the way around the world from bad and comes right back to being good. That doesn't challenge you too much, right? And did I call it recursive? That's just, like, the same way you would talk about, you know, like, text. Is text recursive or not, you know, whatever. So then you gotta fight one of these two, and whatever. This is not the Inquisitor that I was talking about. This guy's pretty much a pushover. He's a puss. He's a pussover. A pullover for vaginas. Pussover. Coming soon this fall. Is your vagina cold? You need a pussover. So, clearly by that joke, you can tell that I do not get the sex. Like, nobody who is getting sex would make a joke about a vagina pullover. The pussover. Coming soon. I've never seen this. Wow, I've never seen this mob before. And I've been playing this game like 150 hours. I never saw this mob. I think, well, first I don't spend very much time. I'm usually rushing through this section of the game. And I spend a lot of my time on the console, which is harder to see stuff on. So, a little harder to see what's going on. Like, the graphics, the resolution just isn't quite as good. So it's a little grainy, I guess. Oh gosh, the way that PlayStation can be sometimes. This is weird. I don't know. It's funny because, like, I start recording sometimes and, like, I'm kind of tired or whatever. And I don't think that, like, anything interesting by way of, oh, what the hell was that? I don't even know if I've seen those before either. I haven't spent much time around here. Like, seriously. Saxon. Oh, you know... Oh, okay. Alright. Don't mean to scream into the camera, but I just realized, and it shouldn't have taken me this long to realize this, the PC game, the PC version that I'm playing has the expansion, which the console does not, so that may explain some of the differences. There's actually two zones that are entirely unique to the expansion, which I haven't really been to very much. I just barely checked out the what was it called? Something like Seraphim Forest or something. Alright, so one thing I don't know is whether you can stack these, expulse magics. I can tell that this last boss fight is going to be really tough. I'll try to do it the best way that exists to do it, which is to pull the guy through the door out of the room. Well, there's 4 guys, and they're all hard. They're all they're each like bosses, and they seem to. It seems like each one gets harder. I haven't actually looked at their mechanics or anything, but from fighting them as I have recently, it seems like they, the more damage, as they take more damage, the lower their health gets, they seem to do more damage. And then, so I think we gotta fight this guy.
I've been waiting for you.
Oh, never mind. So that's not the guy that is bad. That's Leosalaf. He of the unpronounceable name, who has good company in this game, I would have to say. Probably going to be a good idea to kill any ads that are over here before you start this fight, because it's hard enough as it is. If you have any temporary buffs that you can put up, and you're not going to listen to his text, which I'm not, it might not be a horrible idea to put this up, but we'll put this on. And fortunately he ran away, so that's pretty good. Nothing wrong with that. And if he just decides to keep running away, that will not be a bad thing. Except that it's kind of annoying. But he hits really hard. Yeah, he's hitting me like a beast, man. Yeah, I'm gonna pop up another one of these. It would be really awesome if I could get him stuck in a corner. No, he's not gonna do it. Alright, I'm just gonna pop a potion as long as he's near me. Alright, I am totally flailing with my controls. I am absolutely mashing buttons now, but the problem is that I don't play this character very often because I'm doing it for the LP, so I don't get too much opportunity to do it. I kind of would like to modify more things from the Delphic Arcania school, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have the chance. I probably am gonna need to look off camera. Well, I suppose I can look on camera. I think I've done a little bit of this before, but having played some of this now, since I haven't been on camera, I have some different thoughts on it, I guess. I'm actually gonna start adding vitality. We don't need that much stamina, because we already have Grand Invigoration, which gives us... I kinda wish I had taken the speed thing on it, which is pretty good, but... we're definitely not going to take any weapon stuff because we don't need that. The only thing we do need Ancient Magic, and I may not get spell resistance because I have Expulse Magic. Not going to use shields, and so you know what? I may take Delphic Arcania Lore and Ancient Magic. That may be the way to go. But that's a pretty long ways off. It won't take too long to get to level 50, but and that's going to depend on where and when I take this LP, because we're pretty close to beating the game and probably won't make level 40 before then, and that's obviously in standard non-expansion mode. There is no additional expansion ending that I'm aware of, but just a couple extra zones and some more mobs and stuff, and another class, which is the Dragon Mage, so you cannot make a Dragon Mage on the console. That said, it's my understanding that the Dragon Mage is a little buggy, so may not be the best choice, and it's also not that popular. There's actually a poll on the forums. There's a couple of polls asking what people's favorite classes are, and that usually ranks pretty low down. Not sure what all kinds of characters I'm going to make on this. You know, one problem with coming back of having not played this game too much is that, it's definitely not true for me to say that I haven't played this game much, but I haven't been playing this character, so it's hard for me to evaluate the gear. It's much easier to play a game like this when you do it a lot. because there's so many statistics and stuff. You just have to relearn what's important for the characters. So I'm not going to do too much inventory management here. I just want to sell big stuff that I clearly don't want, and then move stuff around a little bit so I can make some room for other things. Cool. I'll just use that right off the bat. Grand Invigoration we're always going to use. That is, there's no need to in any way hesitate to take Grand Invigoration whenever you have one, because it all it does basically is lower your regen. So unlike most other buffs that have a trade-off, there is no trade-off with Grand Invigoration. It's all positive. It's all good. I don't really want to cliffhanger this, but I feel like I may have to end this episode before I beat this boss, because I see that treasure chest isn't a chest. The fight is going to take a while, possibly 10 minutes. If I started it now, it wouldn't make the video too long. I don't like splitting my videos too much these days. I know I did a lot of that once upon a time, like, I don't know, my theories about whatever it was that I was doing were different. I'm trying to move my channel in a different direction from what I had done before, without like abandoning the old fans, or, you know, devaluing my old content, or not, like, still curating it, but I would like to put less emphasis on, I don't want to say completing games, because if I do a game I would prefer to do it to the end, but less emphasis on older games, because they're a pain in the neck, and less, like, I feel like I can I'll throw in, like, walkthrough type of stuff where appropriate. That's an expression of my own interest in the game. But I don't really want to focus on that. I'm trying to be, like, entertaining. Well, I don't know. I'll probably just stick to being entertaining sometimes, because I don't think I can be entertaining all the time. And I'm sure that some would debate that I'm ever entertaining, but they probably aren't following my channel. One wouldn't think. That would be an odd thing to do. Crap, here comes a guy, and he's gonna have, as you can see, he has a thing. This is supposed to, Expulse Magic is supposed to erase his energy shield, is my understanding. So that could be pretty useful, obviously. I haven't even, okay, yeah, he still has his energy shield. Wow, this is really hard. But this ice thing does a lot of damage, though. And I don't think he has resistance to ice. I'm trying to keep all my stuff up. When I had my magic coop character here, I was just absolutely spamming health potions. It was brutal. I barely made it through. It's one of the problems with my magic coop character, is that she doesn't have a lot of defense, and I think it'll get better as I go up in level. And again, I'll try to show this in a video of, so obviously I decided not to even bother with going outside of the room to fight the boss, but my plan ultimately with that character is to get up to the point where I do, I use a shield and an energy pistol, which is a one-handed energy weapon. And so that'll help with my defense a little bit, and she won't be so weak in defense. But in order to do that, I think I'm going to need to socket a lot of damage rings in all of my gear, and I almost died. Probably should be paying attention. I am back to mashing buttons. Very difficult. This is where it becomes difficult to commentate. And as we may see, I believe they get harder with each successive one. So much I have to do here is I have to spam potions and keep up my spells, my buffs, my defensive buffs, my debuffs. like...
Take that.
Okay.
No way.
What is that? Oh, okay. So I should probably use this. Alright, that'll probably be helpful. Okay. And he just decided to stop, like, fighting me at all. So I guess we'll just kill him. At least this guy will be easy to kill. The other ones will give me more trouble. Like, yeah. Eventually, well, I've been having to use a spear with my magic coup high elf because until I get those damage rings socketed, the energy pistol just doesn't do enough damage and it takes forever to kill anything. So if you lead this guy out into the hallway, then he'll stop recharging his energy shield. I'll try to do that for the next guy. But you gotta remember how many doors you pass, because there's only one door you can open. Okay, so there's 4 of these on each side, and there's 4 sides. Click to move is gonna be trying to mess me up. Let's try to train him. Today, I'm gonna train you on how to follow me as I hit you with projectiles here and now. Today, you're gonna learn how to get your ass beat. 101. Step 1, come out into this hallway. Step outside, motherfucker! I'm gonna beat your ass. With ice shards. With ice shards. You ever got your ass beat by an ice shard, bitch? Today's your lucky day, motherfucker. You're gonna get your ass kicked by an ice shard. An ice shark. Sounds like a game for the Sega CD that would suck. Because they all suck. Was there a good game for the Sega CD? I know some people will say that there was, and those are people who owned a Sega CD and they're just mad that they wasted their money. Though, realistically speaking, they probably wasted their parents' money, because if they had money of their own to waste, that means that they attempted to, or believed that they made a rational decision to buy a game system which could only have been based on height, because the only thing that console had was height, and basically not a whole lot else. So if you stay in this room, this thing in the middle will continually recharge all of these guys' energy shields, which is basically what was going on when he was when we were farting when we were farting the first couple of guys. Which, like, it must be like burping something, like a baby, except, like, from the other end. So it's like, oh, he's only mad because he's got a fart. Poor guy. Why don't you fart him? Be a swell fellow and just fart that guy. Alright, I think I got my... Yeah, okay, so we're invisible, and now I can just focus on, like, beating on this guy for, like, 20 seconds. Probably want to mod that ability out. Alright, let's get that back up for when this comes back off, but we can get a lot of damage done on. Unfortunately, we can't beat these guys in the duration of one of these things. So, back to normal playing and having to, like, try and, like, pay some kind of attention. Really surprised that we haven't died. I forgot that I'm not on the console, so I don't have, like, infinite potions. Glad I didn't know that. On the console, since they all stack in one stack, I tend to have, like, 400 potions at all times, because I usually never use them, only for something like that, which, like, is just really difficult for whatever build I'm running. Oh, so let's see what kind of loot we got, since we just beat the last boss. We got this saber, but that was from before. That's a legendary. It would be like a 3. No, it's not a legendary. I'm bad. It's a unique. My bad. So that's like a 3-star on the console, but we're not melee, so, and I don't have a melee character on here, which is starting to look like it's all melee stuff. It's beginning to look a bit like crap loot everywhere I click. It's just grays and whites with a blue that sucks. You know, it's beginning to look... Okay, so here's the ending of the game. and I'm gonna split this off. So we'll be looking at this. I'll just say it. Oh, no. Okay, so we're at 25 minutes.
After
All right.
eons of working, the big machine finally comes to rest. The T-energy in Ancaria dwindles away, and with it, all the horrors it once created. The price for Ancaria's salvation was high. Still, owing to your heroic deeds,
Here lies
this world may now look
unpronounceable
forward
name.
to a flourishing and peaceful future.
I couldn't even pronounce unpronounceable.
Or
How ironic.
so everyone would like to think. However,
You got a thing on your
there's
eyes, bud.
another story.
You got a thing on your face. You got a little thing on your face, and he like points at his like clawed away eyes. He's like, "Here? Kind of." He's like, "Over here?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, I see. I got like a little jelly on my cheek." And you're like, "Nah, I was thinking more like the horrific disfiguration of your face." I don't know. Anyway, so there it is. That's the end of Silver difficulty. I really thought it would take a lot longer to fight that guy. I am currently scratching my ball region. My bollocks. Not my bollocks. Anyway. But I'm just relaxing. I'm maxing, relaxing, all cool, and all scratching my balls down by the pool when all of a sudden some guys who were up to no good started making trouble in the neighborhood. I know, that doesn't go, guys. You know. But you should know what I'm referencing there, right? Hey, Knuckles! Look at that! Knuckles, how'd you get in this game? I don't know. Nightwolf. That, like, strikes me as strange because there was, like, this kind of weird guy who used to, and probably still does, write poetry on this poetry website that I used to write. I used to write, a lot more poems on this poetry website. I don't do it as much anymore. I guess not necessarily my thing. Like, I don't take poetry seriously per se. It's just like an outlet, you know. It's just like locking yourself in your closet and like crying by yourself. It's just sort of, you know, whatever you gotta do that's therapeutic sometimes. Like looking at a tree with eyeballs on it, of course, because why not? Why wouldn't you put, fuck it, while we're gonna throw weird shit on a tree, why don't we throw like weird glowing butt cheeks and like, how about some ears? And it's like an underwater thing too with some kelp, but there was no ears on there. But I'm just going crazy. How about if you cut it, it just like sap doesn't come out. It's just like the tears of children. And I just noticed, okay, I can almost get down with the eyes on the tree, but there's eyes on this wall. Honestly, who puts eyes on a stone wall? Like, kind of like, you can imagine when the architect presented the blueprints, he's like, you know, and like the lord of the castle is like, so tell me, where are you going to get these eyes that you're going to put on there? And then next thing you know, he's like, "Hey-ya!" And then he became the intro guy. So that's what happened there. That's his eyes, if you were wondering about the horrific disfiguration. I don't know. Anyway, consider this banter an annoyance that you didn't watch, or a bonus. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and end the video. If you press back, this will take you back to the main menu, and there's our character. And if we go to single player or multiplayer, we will see that we can now do gold. And I guess nobody will see this, but I will mention that I also have Tungle, so I can make a LAN game under multiplayer. I don't have it running right now, but eventually I'd be able to search for other LAN games over the internet, or make a LAN game that other people can join and play over the internet with Tungle. So that is a possibility for the future for me. I don't know if I will be able to do anything with it, because I would need somebody to play with. Anyways, this is Bezlonir signing out of another episode of Let's Play Sacred 2. Probably not the last episode, but if it is, then thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed. And I'll hopefully see you on another video, perhaps another LP. And until then, I hope that your life is good and you enjoy your life and have a good time. So thanks.